You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I'm recording too. Sweet.
Hell yeah. One of the things I would love to see when we have our 200th episode in a couple weeks, which is honestly fucked up, all I want is a compilation of us saying hell yeah on this podcast.
It would be 4 hours long.
I know. The amount that you cut out has to be unreal.
It's like when that one person did a supercut of every time the McElroy brothers said boy or boys.
Oh my god.
It ended up being like 2 hours or some shit. That's gonna be us with hell yeah.
Put it out,
every
guys.
intonation possible of just a good old hell yeah.
This is the content that your fans are asking for.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We have been bombarded with emails saying, give us the fucking hell yeah cut.
Yeah. Hashtag release the hell yeah cut.
That is the only version I think of Justice League I would watch if everything that they said was hell yeah, but just in different intonations.
Honestly, same. I don't... How many different versions of Justice League can you get? Like, I mean,
apparently
there's...
enough. Goddamn.
Oh my god, no, I don't. I would rather not interact with that. I'm good. I'll take you
agree.
guys' cut, though, but not Justice League.
Exactly. Speaking of which, welcome to Into the Hell Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be funny for anyone else, but I personally find that really funny, so get wrecked. Anyways, fuck, Jay, I'm so glad that you were here, first of all.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you were here. To me, it feels like having family on. Like, I've literally never talked to you before, but I feel like I know you.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I put a lot of my myself out on the internet, so I feel like a lot of people feel that way about me. So that's nice.
Same.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back sometimes and tell 11-year-old me who was just making so many fucking surveys on MySpace and be like, hey, don't tell anyone about your life ever. This will only end up in pain.
That gives me so many flashbacks to, like, all those questions and those, how is it, like, your top 8 friends on MySpace and how important that was back then. Oh my god, no.
Honest to God, the only reason why I'm surviving teaching online is because of the HTML coding that I did making my MySpace page in 5th grade. That's the only reason. It's like, I hacker voice, I'm in, I got it, like, I can figure this out.
Yeah.
Some people just didn't have that expertise.
I
I was building my resume from day one.
Honestly, that's a really good skill. Like I said before, I'm like a 60-year-old man that doesn't understand the internet, so I don't have any of those skills. But, use them if you can.
I love that. For folks who don't know who you are, which I feel like is a crime, but that's okay, could you tell them who you are and what you do?
Hi, my name is Jay. I am a content creator, I guess. I'm putting that in air quotes. I'm a content creator on TikTok, and most of my TikTok is K-pop related and kind of like young adult kind of stuff. Twilight, movies, My Chemical Romance, just an accumulation of
the whole thing.
Random shit. Yeah.
So, one of my favorite things about the stuff that you create, specifically on TikTok too, is I have so many students, like not just this year, but overall, that are huge K-pop stans. And the amount that I have learned from your videos alone to be able to sustain conversations with these angsty 12-year-olds, they're like, wait a second, you know what I'm talking about? You've earned me a lot of cool points, and I feel indefinitely, like, grateful to you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm trying to do my part over here to teach the youth about K-pop and other random shit.
I feel so humbled that you called me youth when I am, according to my 12-year-olds, I am the oldest thing they've ever seen. So they're like, oh god, Miss Johnson's talking about MySpace again. We gotta go. Like, it's literally just that meme of like, okay, grandma, like, just keep going. It's fine. It's all good.
There used to be a website where you could have your friends and it would play music that you liked.
You don't understand. Young child, you used to be able to code a glittering GIF of Elmo on the website, and they're like, okay, grandma, like, shut the fuck up.
I feel like we're going through a lot of like Renaissance-y type stuff recently, where we're kind of like harkening back to like old things. What I want so desperately to become cool again is like the blingy GIF, like sparkle.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That was like a high art. Like
Absolutely.
the people that were making those things. First of all, where are they now? What are they doing? What's their lives like? But also,
give me
like,
an HBO series on them, please and thank you.
Yes, okay, actually. But also, like, let's just bring them back, you know?
For real.
Let's bring them back.
Honestly, I don't care about anything else. I just want to know what those people are doing now and, like, what they evolved into doing now. Like,
yeah.
Did those people know when they were creating the most glittery, sparkly gifts of, like, essentially brat dolls, did they know that they were shaping fashion? Like, did they know how influential they would be? I just need to talk to them. God damn it, this is my life goal now.
Trendsetters, honestly.
They are the reason why I had a denim beret and a denim purse that I used to wear every day in 6th grade. Like, where are they?
Oh my god.
Because the amount that my personality was based off of Claire's at that time, simply just trying to become a Bratz doll, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You really hate to see it. Anyways, I'm going to shove that down and think about it at a later time. Jay, as you know, so I don't have to explain this to you, but I am, for the folks that this is their first episode, which, like, if this is your first episode, stop, please.
Turn back while you still can.
Yeah, you haven't pressed go yet. You can stop. Before we get into talking about really trashy shit, we like to check in about how we're doing and bring some good into the space. So could you share, Jay, what's a happy thing that's happened to you recently? And also, how are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good for the most part. But the good, happy thing that I'm bringing today is that I'm really, really close to hitting 30K on TikTok, which is
Hell yeah.
crazy for me because it's not something that I thought a couple years ago that I would be doing, that I would be making silly videos, making fun of K-pop stans on a platform. So yeah, it's exciting.
That is amazing.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you.
What a, like, crisp number, too. 30K, just something about that number feels right to me, so I love that.
Yeah, it feels like a very good amount of, like, internet clout, too, where it's, like, it's not, like, invasive, really, in any large conceivable way, but it's still, like, you have something to brag about, and, like, you have a community, and that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a good middle ground.
Yeah, I would say, like, not enough that they start to, like, figure out where you live, and
Right.
start, like, talking to your family members, but enough that it's, like, if you ask for a request, there will be people there, which is, that to me feels like a good medium.
It's nice. I don't know, just because I have my face out there, I have gotten recognized a couple times, that also makes me really nervous. Like, I don't want people to perceive me outside of the internet, but it is nice. Right. Like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. But please don't talk to me.
Please don't. You just back away slowly, like, you never saw me. Nothing happened here.
I am a figment of your imagination. I am not a real person.
Don't perceive me, please.
Please do not. That's gotta be our next merch, Cody. It's just like, please do not perceive
Yeah,
me.
do not.
Oh, God. Speaking of which, Cody, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Well, good.
Thank you. Yeah. My happy thing, it's a very small thing, but it's something that has really enhanced my life quite dramatically, is that I figured out how to, like, mirror my desktop to another monitor, aka my TV, without using an HDMI port, and I kind of feel like a wizard, not gonna lie, when I did it.
Oh my gosh.
Because also my laptop does not have an HDMI port, so I've just been, like, struggling for the last couple 8 months of, like, whatever, and I was too stubborn to buy an adapter, because I'm like, fuck it, I'll figure it out, it's fine.
I'm so proud of you, one, for figuring that out, just based on, like, stubbornness alone, because that's really what fuels, like, change in this world.
Absolutely.
Also, the idea that you have been working off of just one screen this entire time, and now you don't have to suffer anymore, makes me really happy for you.
Thank you. Honestly, I don't know why I waited this long to just do a Google.
I don't know.
I was like, oh, you could just figure it out if you read an article once. But you know what? Sometimes my brain works in mysterious ways, but we're here and we're thriving. How are you?
I'm so good. I have, in contrast to, I mean, I think my thing is also small, but it is literally very big, and so I'm glad to bring it to space. For folks that have been listening for a long time, I feel like I've got to have talked about Clifford at some point. Like, I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
That big old red dog.
It's in the record somewhere.
Yeah, can someone add that to our meeting notes? Like, I've talked about Clifford before, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I was starting to realize in our notes that today's episode is kind of like a animal-heavy show in an interesting way. And then I was like, oh, hey, animals, that fucking Clifford thing came out today. And, folks, so here's the thing. Clifford, the animated Clifford brought me a lot of joy as a child because I like dogs.
Yes.
But in the news today, I found out that they're making a live action version, and he's just a big old funked dog, and it's really scary to me.
Yeah.
There's something that was different. When there was less hair, it felt safer.
What?
It's the actual fur is so disconcerting. It's like there's something about it that's like uncanny valley. I wish I could not see it.
There's something about looking at what looks like a puppy dipped in tomato juice here. It is one terrifying. And also, like, there is something about this image that reminds me of when people would talk about like horse-sized ducks or whatever the fuck that saying is. Like, there's something about this just fucks with me, and I don't like it, but I can't stop thinking about it. So I need to just
it does beg the question, could you beat Big Red Dog in a fight?
Absolutely not.
If given the opportunity. Yeah.
I would, no, there's something about those paws, they should not be that big, and it really scares me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, I'm gonna just reduce the size of that image so that I don't have to think about it anymore. And instead, talk about something that I have wanted to know for a long time, which is, Jay, can you tell us your Twilight backstory?
Yeah, sure. Okay, where to begin? When Twilight first, I was like 9. I was way too young to really interact with them. But I knew that it was happening because at the time, my best friend, she's a couple years older than me, and she was obsessed. As soon as the books came out, she was constantly like, Jay, you gotta read these books. Jay, you gotta read them. And I was very much like, do I want to read about a vampire love story? Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna just do my own thing. So I just didn't interact with it at all. And then fast forward a couple years, she kept telling me about it, trying to convince me. Because very much everything that she was into, I would eventually get into, but I was like really stubborn about the Twilight thing. And one weekend, my dad picked us up, me and my siblings, to go see a movie. And they never let me choose what movie we were going to watch, but that weekend, my dad was like, hey, Jay, you know what? You never get to choose. Why don't you choose the movie? So I was looking through what was available, and New Moon was playing. And I was like, I know that this is another one of those Twilight movies that my friend will not stop talking about. Maybe I should just give it a chance. You know, I'll watch it, and if I don't like it, you know, I gave it a try, at least. So my dad asked me, hey, what's this movie about? And I was like, honestly, all I know is that it's a vampire and a girl. That's literally a romance story. That's it. That's all I knew. So he was like, okay. So, you know, we go in, and I don't even know how we got tickets because it had been a couple days after the movie had come out. But we go into this theater packed full of girls, just teenage girls waiting for this movie. Like, they were screaming. They were so excited. And me and my family were like completely confused. We did not get the hype. And so we sat down and we started watching the movie. Even though my friend had told me so much about Twilight, I was still very unaware of most of what Twilight was. So in like the first 5 minutes, you get to see that scene where it's Bella, and she's having like that dream or nightmare where she's like old and she's in the meadow with Edward, right? And so I was so unaware of just that in general that when Edward steps out into the sunlight and he starts sparkling, I lost my shit. I was not prepared for it at all. I was just like, oh my god, vampires sparkled? What is this? And I was instantly like hooked. But I wasn't like really sold on it. I was like, this is so cool. But I wasn't really on board until you see that scene where Bella's like, it's after the breakup and she's like in her depression spiral. And you see the scene where it's like October, November, December. Like 12-year-old me was just like, I'm sold. I'm on board. So I don't know what was going on with me, but that's the vibe that I was given.
Yeah, but are you good? What happened?
It's like those were the two things that got to me was like sparkling vampires and really sad Bella. Like that was just the thing that got me hooked. So I came out of the movie. My family was very confused and very like, what the fuck just happened? And I was on board because we went in with no context. So I begged my dad to take me to the bookstore. And I asked him, hey, like, can you buy me these books? And I think at the time Breaking Dawn had either just come out or I think it may have been something like that. So I asked him, I was like, please, can I get all these books? Like, I'm in this. I want to see more sparkly, depressed vampires. Like, this is my shit. So he got me the first 3 books, and then he said he would get me the other ones, and I read them. I think I read Twilight and New Moon before I even got to talk to my friend, and I was like, hey, I'm on board. I have been changed. I am fully into this. And so after that, me and my friend, we would just, watch the movies as they were coming out in theaters, every weekend at her house. That's basically what we would talk about and hang out and watch the movies and everything. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into Twilight. How I'm here today, I guess.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Well, I have so many thoughts. First of all, the fact that your family stumbled in to the New Moon premiere is honestly buck wild. I can only imagine what that sounded like. So, good to your ears.
It was like my family had even less context than I did because they didn't even know anything of what was going on. I at least knew that it was like a vampire love story. They knew nothing. So after the movie, they were like, what the hell did you just make us watch? And also, you're not allowed to pick the movie anymore. And I never did after that. So.
Oh no.
Wow.
That's haunted. Especially because like New Moon was the first one where they intentionally did a title card that was like longer to accompany the screaming. And so I can imagine that very clearly in my mind. The second thing is there's so many credits that I need to give your friend in this moment for encouraging you to do this. I feel like I can only hope that person is in an MLM now. Like, they are really good at recruiting, so...
The power they have.
Exactly. Which also makes me wonder, what would happen if this fandom was an MLM? Like, would that just become a cult?
Oh, God. Yeah, absolutely. No question.
The amount of people that they could just bring in is insane.
Absolutely. Oh, God. Okay. Haunted thoughts. I don't want to think them anymore. But I'm glad that, we've had many a story here of, like, just, I'm going to watch the movies first and then being like, oh, no, this is, like, my shit. But it is wild to me that it was also, like, right after New Moon came. That is very serendipitous on your part. So,
yeah, the entire theater was extremely packed. And I have no idea to this day how we even got tickets. Because when we went in, it was full. Completely full. And we just got in somehow, and here we are.
Amazing. That was like back in the day too, when you would have to find your own seats. Like, I cannot imagine going back to that world where you don't have reserved seating, because the amount of anxiety that gave me, no thank you.
Yeah.
Hard pass. I'm so excited to get into the host with you because I feel like there are probably more thoughts on here. Brief detour before we do that, though. We have a couple of current events this week that are interesting. That's what I'll say. They are an artistic choice. This first one from E! Last week, like a week and a half, I guess, when y'all are hearing this, was Twilight's birthday. Fucking Sagittarius. And so this E! Article, I don't know if it's less of an article or if it's actually just like a fucking like burn book. This thing is so long and filled with secrets. And
it's a treasure trove of cursed knowledge.
There's so much in this, but instead of spending an entire podcast episode specifically on these secrets, I imagine that we'll come back to them at some point. Were there any of these that stood out to you?
We've talked about it in certain aspects, but like 5,000 people auditioned to be Edward Cullen. And that seems like too many. I guess I'm not as into I don't really have a great understanding of like the casting landscape and like, you know, I'm sure a lot of big budget stuff goes through a lot of people, right?
Right.
But like 5,000?
Specifically just for one role. If it was 5,000 for all of the roles, I get it. But this was not a blockbuster at this point. It was arguably, Summit was like, I'll take this on, but fuck y'all. Like, I'm not giving you any money for this.
Yeah.
So the fact that there were 5,000 people, more so probably of their agents being like, just go, you never know, just go. It seems like a lot of people. No thank you.
That's wild.
I personally would like to draw your attention to secret number 12 on here. Because I have quite a few questions about this. So for those that are not reading this along, which like, you don't need to worry about it. We have another sacred, cursed quote from Robert Pattinson.
It's been a minute.
It has been. It's been a minute. There's this quote from Robert Pattinson which says the following. On the first shot, on the first day, I strained one of my ass cheeks. My ass just couldn't take the train of the first one. I have so many questions. First of all, what was he doing?
Right. What athletic endeavor caused him to strain his ass cheeks?
Was he in that tight of pants? Because I don't remember them being that tight. So what happened here?
Right. What's going on?
Exactly. And he says on here, like, so that was the first day, obviously, of filming Twilight, and that it, shockingly, folks, caused a problem for the insurance people, and it required physical therapy.
Oh,
what did he do? Robert, first of all, hi, how are you? Second of all, what the fuck is up with you? Why are you like this? I just don't understand.
He's so unhinged, and everything that comes out of his mouth, like, I just want to immortalize it forever, because it's so out there. I love it so much, but what is going through his head?
And sometimes I want to know. Like, just tell me. I want to tune into his brain sometimes. But I'm also pretty sure that there is like a 50-50 chance where it is just absolute silence. Or that it is that Six Flags song, whatever that's called, where the old man's like dancing. That I think there's only two choices. And I feel like it might oscillate for him of like no thoughts, no feelings, smooth brain. And then also just like ridiculous sounds.
Yeah, that seems fair.
I just have so many questions for him. And every time that we talk about Robert, there's more questions than answers, which is just, like, give us a break, dude.
Yeah.
We also have a cheat sheet moment. So we're back in that corner. So this article in particular is referencing when Steph talked about why all the boys...
We're on a nickname basis with Miss Meyer.
Why all the boys in Forks were soups obsessed with Bella. And I can... Unsurprisingly, this will surprise no one, but she references that Bella's experience was created based on inspiration from her own life. And you might be asking, what part of that is she referencing? Is it's something that's beyond naming all of the characters after her siblings? And the answer is yes.
Oh god. Never forget.
It haunts my waking days. She references in here that one of the reasons why everyone is attracted to Bella when she goes to Forks is that this same thing happened to her. And so
she did fall in love with a vampire.
She did. That apparently she was in high school in Scottsdale, not Phoenix, which she says is Arizona's version of Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was just a wallflower and, like, no one noticed her. I had friends, but, like, no boys looked at me, which is honestly my fucking dream, but that's fine. But then everything changed when she moved to the good old-fashioned Utah. And then everyone within a mile radius of her was obsessed. So, she's not like other girls, folks.
Yeah. Here's a question I have based on this.
Please.
Because she talks about how, like, oh, once I went to college, like, the boys were flocking towards me. She literally says, my stock went through the roof, which is a choice you could make. Did she go to Brigham Young? Like, did she go to the Mormon college? Because she says she went to college in Provo, Utah, which is, like, Mormon country, like...
It is. She had to go to BYU. That is where she got indoctrinated on all of this shit that, like, she does not realize is very sexual. She's like, oh no, I just write based on, like, what I learned. But all of it is about sex. And it's gay,
yeah. Stephenie.
So, like, what's happening here?
Oh, yes. Okay, I have confirmed yes, because she's under the notable alumni page for Brigham Young University.
No,
just with a bunch of white guys. It's her and also John Heder. Okay, what? Hold on. I'm sorry.
What? Wait, what? We need to take a pivot.
Sorry. What? So apparently Napoleon Dynamite and Stephenie Meyer, notable alumni of Brigham Young University. I am crying. I can't see that.
Honestly, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. If you really think about it.
Yeah. If you peel back the layers, yeah, that checks out, actually. Are they similar enough in age that they went to school at the same time?
You know what? I'm so glad that you asked.
No.
Because I'm just going to quickly confirm Stephenie Meyer's age. Okay, Cody, holy shit. Okay, so she's 46.
Yeah.
He is 43. So.
Oh my God. Guys, the math checks out here. The answer is maybe. There's a strong maybe.
Everyone shut up. Is John Heder the one who she based Edward Cullen off of?
Edward? Oh no!
No, we can't do this. We can't go down this rabbit hole.
Don't do this
that
to
sexual, provocative dance that he does. Like, I think that really influenced her. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry to have opened this can of worms. We don't know that it's not.
So.
But it does make sense.
I'm never gonna be able to forget that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
God.
what we're here for.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
So, hell yes in chat. Okay, before we get into the host, we do have a listener email, and I'm so excited to share this with the class. So we had a listener who I don't know if they want us to say their name, so I'm not going to. But if you're listening, thanks for this. Folks, usually when folks send us emails, not to, like, fucking pat ourselves on the back, but, like, you follow an email format of, like, hi, here's my name.
There's an etiquette.
Here's why I'm emailing. There's some sort of protocol. Yeah. What I love so much about this email is that it is not that.
Right.
I thought this was a spam email because it was sent with literally no body. There is a title of the email. Like, the subject line is Twilight and Cats with an ellipses thoughts. And then there's nothing in the body of the email, just a link to a fucking BuzzFeed article. And when I tell you folks that when I clicked on this, I thought I was going to be rickrolled, I was pretty sure. But I was not. It's something better. This is a BuzzFeed article about celebrating Twilight turning 12, and it gives us some details about the baseball scene. As you scroll through this, a lot of this is stuff we've already talked about. We know they went to choreography. We know that it made the baseball scene so sensual that we know it to be now.
Yeah.
That's not the part I care about. What I care about is the fucking red string of this article that takes one point that Carlisle says to Rosalie of nice kitty, and it says, hey, but what if Twilight and cats? So I'm going to ask the both of you to scroll down to the end of this article and tell me how you feel about the image that you see.
I don't like it.
What about it could you possibly not like?
Everything. Listen, Allie's fucking being a little shy now. She doesn't want to confess to her sins right now, so I'm gonna do it for her. There's a photo in here that is just a fucking Photoshop, a janky Photoshop, might I add.
That's really
of
bad.
Robert Pattinson's face stitched onto one of the cats from Cats. I wouldn't know, and I refuse to learn.
Oh my god.
And it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my human life.
It's not great. It's not great at all.
I didn't know that cats could somehow get worse.
Yeah, here we are. We've done it.
One of my favorite things about this moment is that there is a credit on this photo, not for the janky Photoshop that we're looking at, but for the actual still from the movie of, I think that's Victoria, the main character there. Because I have watched Cats. I have culture. I care about camp. I am trying to preserve the legacy. But yes, one of my favorite things about this is that it is indeed credited towards Getty Images. We know you edited fucking Robert's face onto this. Don't play this off like it's real. Anyways, the idea of Twilight and Cats together, I don't know. I'm interested in that idea, but I also know that the idea of having like werewolves and small cats does not feel like a good mix. That doesn't seem safe. So I'm going to say no. But thank you for sending us the wildest email that we have received thus far. So thank you. Looking now at the host. Jay, had you read this before?
No. So when I started reading Twilight, I was very, aware that it was trash. And I had mentally told myself, you know what? I'm gonna give Stephenie Meyer this one pass. Twilight is the one pass that I'm gonna give her. So as soon as I heard that there was another, series or book that she was working on, or the host, I was just absolutely not. I don't want to engage with it. And here I am. And I've read the whole thing now, and have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Good. There's so many excuses that we give to Stephenie. There's so many passes that we try to give this woman of yeah, what you wrote isn't good, but we are gonna read it. We'll talk about it. That somehow feels like it goes out the window when we talk about the host and the chemist of oh, but it's just, you're not good. Oh, yikes. And I agree. I think that in a distant world, I also read this, but I don't remember it, which is, I think that's pretty telling. I think that I never thought we would talk about other Stephenie Meyer writing on this show.
Never thought we'd see the day.
And yet, fuck, here we are, I guess. Those are, I guess, really, folks, if you think about it, it really is unprecedented times. So,
Oh my god.
When we last discussed the host, because I speak of it, I do not talk about it with anyone else. I just forget that we had this conversation and I come back next week. We got to find out that there's some sort of wanderer. There was a lot of medical talk. There was a whole lot of shit going down. And when we last left off, I think that the wanderer had just woken up. So, interesting. So we have chapters 3 and 4 today. I don't know about you all, but these felt quick to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like it was, now that we're kind of more in the thick of it, it feels like it's less what's going on? I'm confused. What's happening? I mean, there's still that, but it's less as abrasive, you know?
And I just know Stephenie. Stephenie is the kind of person who's oh, you want a chapter? Then let me give you 20 pages. Fuck you. And these felt a little bit tighter, which is nice to see, and I hope that continues, but also, we still have over 600 pages left, so I'm not holding my breath.
I got the audiobook. I know that there's, different characters and voices that are given, when you read the book. I think it might be, the text might be smaller if they're talking about a certain character. When I was listening to the audiobook, it wasn't until, chapter 4 that I could differentiate that there was like multiple people here, because I don't know who the narrator is. I don't know who was reading it, but like she doesn't do a really different voice for the other character. So I was very confused until chapter 4. I was so confused.
That is valid. I'm listening to the audiobook also, and for the first 2 chapters, I was like, I have no idea who's saying shit. I don't know what's going on.
No.
Whatever. I think these chapters, I'm more like, I got it. It's very subtle. Like, she does a very subtle, like, there's no visual, obviously, like, differentiator, so it's just like a little, whoop. This is a little, I'm doing my voice slightly differently. And you're like, that's not enough for me to get what you're saying here. But yeah,
that sounds awful.
Yeah, it is interesting. And also, like, everyone has 7 names. So I'm like, I don't know. These could all just be the same person. I have no idea. Nah.
The first time that I read them around, like, the first time that I read this through, I was extremely confused because I couldn't tell the difference. Now that I've read the whole thing, I know kind of what's going on. But so Allie, you've read the book before, but Cody, you haven't.
Yes, I read it on
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, I genuinely think that the audiobook is like the worst format for this book.
That makes me so sad, because when I read it the first time, it was in a hard copy book, because I was an English major, and I didn't read audiobooks.
Yeah, right.
And now I don't have time, or frankly, apartment space for that, so I read them online. But I feel like, hey, just a quick note, Stephenie, while you're here, hey, when you write 2 characters who are sharing the same body, you should probably have that really clear when someone's reading it out loud.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a whole fucking mess. So Stephenie, for next time, and God, please don't let there be a next time,
right.
Do better.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. Just please. That sounds, honestly, now that we've had 2 weeks of the berating of this audiobook, a part of me wants to listen to it, but also I don't.
Yeah.
So.
Every week I get closer and closer to just getting the book.
So this 3rd chapter here, which is titled Resisted, and folks, you might be like, could it be that there's someone who is resisting this? You're exactly right. Stephenie is not subtle at all.
Yeah.
It does not take a skill in literary analysis to understand her writing. So you're okay. You're safe here. It's okay. So I have a couple of questions about this chapter. Because one, Wanderer just woke up, and so they're like, first of all, everything is really overstimulating. Can you all not? And then they just keep asking questions, which is awful. This is just a warning for folks. We're going to be talking about the book, but there's also a mention of, like, suicide on here. So, like, I don't know, skip ahead 2 minutes or something. This other host that they're talking about, Kevin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And, like, for Kevin, please, what a name. What a choice.
Yeah.
The idea that Stephenie seems it's very clear in her writing how obsessed she is with mortality. She's very concerned on this. I don't know that it was necessary to include this, like, suicide attempt in here. That was a choice.
Yeah.
And also, this story about Kevin, because what essentially is happening is it feels like Wanderer is getting read terms of service out loud.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's like, this is what you can expect. We're going to take all of your data.
It's very clear that they have done this before. That's been mentioned, that, like, this is not their first body that they've been a host in. But then all of a sudden, it's like we get this experience from Kevin, who I think before their name was, like, Racing Song, I think is what the soul's name was. They're also from a planet of bats, so, like, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot to just kind of, like, take in. But this idea that Kevin was supposedly just doing their job, and the host was like, what if I don't let you do that, though? And yet Stephenie is here like, hey, this might be useful later. Wink. When it's just subtle as a punch to the throat.
I don't know if you've heard of foreshadowing, but I'm very good at it, so... I also love the dig at Kevin, too, where it's just like, Kevin was, like, a perfectly normal dude, besides the fact that he kept the name Kevin. And I was like, damn, okay, fuck Kevin, I guess. Like,
Stephenie hates the name Kevin.
No Kevin zone. Absolutely not. No Kevin.
No Kevins.
No
so
Kevin's rude.
Allowed.
Like, you could be you could pull it back a little bit. It's a little aggressive.
God damn, Stephenie. Like, why do you choose to be so rude sometimes?
What Kevin hurt you?
I agree. I also have that same question. And then second, Stephenie, hashtag not all Kevins, okay? I don't know any Kevins, but something about that name does not feel scary to me. So
yeah,
just leave them alone, okay?
Leave the Kevins alone.
The other thing that I found interesting in this part too is, so we start to get a little bit more on Melanie. So Wanderer's like, let me access the little file cabinets in my brain really quick, and pulls up all this information. The problem is, as we saw when we talked last week, Wanderer is bumping up against these kind of, I think it's described almost as like brick walls in Melanie's brain, where Wanderer's like, just give me this information. I'm doing a job. Just like, help me help you. And Melanie's like, fuck you, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Which, fair. I also wouldn't want someone like moving around in my brain. There's a couple of new characters that are added. So I think we heard about Melanie's cousin last week. I can't remember. But Sharon has entered the picture. As this stuff is being explained, of course, Wanderer's like having a lot of body reactions, because Melanie's like, don't say all of my stuff out loud to these strangers. Thanks, actually. Which is valid, and that makes sense. The interesting thing about the end of this chapter, which I think fits into the title of this Skype call very naturally, is we get a lot of emphasis on Jared.
Oh, don't you mean him?
Him.
In italics?
Sorry, him. My bad. And so it just ends there, where it's like, Jared is safe. And if you, like me, have a smooth brain, you were like, oh, like the jewelry place, like he went to Jared. Apparently
oh my god.
It's different, so we're both wrong, and that's
actual
okay.
people are named Jared, and they're not just jewelry conglomerates. Interesting.
Here's what I'll say: I've never met a Jared, so to be fair,
my
they
god.
don't exist in my world. Kevin's absolutely. Jared, I don't know him. I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems fake. Here's the bummer for me about chapter 4 is, since both of you are listening to the audiobook, you do not have the joy, the pleasure, some might say, or the horror, in my experience, where almost all of this chapter is in that fucking 8-point font again, because it's a memory. It's so small.
Stephenie Meyer's like, I want to hurt your eyes specifically.
Just me. It is a personal attack, and that's so frustrating. I am very curious about how you all felt about this memory.
Do you mean the memory of chapter 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when Melanie is starting to, like, scavenge, and there's a lot of...
getting that food.
She's talking about, like, apples and baby carrots.
Yeah.
Like, I actually, this is the part in the book where I was just like, okay, I'm into this. I can follow this. But there are certain parts of it, especially when you meet Jared, like, that I'm just like, nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What possibly you thought was weird about a guy who hasn't talked to another human in 2 years, and his immediate reaction to another human being is to just fucking smack him on the lips with a good old switch. How's that weird?
That seems totally normal.
That was the weirdest, like, absolutely no, absolutely not. Like, I understand that this is a stressful situation if there's an alien invasion, but you do not go up to the first human being that you meet and just kiss them. Just like an absolute
It's
stranger.
also such a pivot too, right? Where it's like, he immediately is like, oh, I have to fight you because you are clearly not human. And then like, there's a glimmer in her eye and he's like, oh shit, I guess I'll kiss. I guess I'll give you a sweet smooch. It's like, whoa.
Jared...
We were so aggressive real quick. What happened?
Jared only has 2 moods. He's on kill mood or he's on kiss mood.
Yeah.
There is no in between, it seems like, for Jared. And that, I tried to give this man the benefit of the doubt of like, you have not talked to someone in 2 years. You are on the run. You are in wild circumstances. But hey, Jared, when did consent leave the picture? So
For real.
And also, I just have to imagine that given this world that we're supposed to be in, that showers don't really exist. Toothpaste is probably really hard to come by. Why are you smacking lips, Jared? Knock it off.
Hey, Jared.
Stop it. First of all, what is it with Stephenie Meyer's J characters where she's like, I want to make these people kiss without consent? Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Who hurt you? Knock it off.
Make it make sense.
I have so many questions. So first of all, before even Jared, Melanie is just trying to like help her brother. She's trying her best not to eat all of these granola bars in sight and just like go to take care of her brother Jaimes and just trying to live. And then this fight happens. One of the things that made me crack up about this scene, though, is when they eventually are like, okay, we're just not going to kill each other, right? Truce? Then Jared is like, oh, okay, well, I see that you need to get back to your brother really fast. How are you going to do that? You're not going to walk, are you? And then Melanie's like, well, fuck. I guess I have to use this guy's Jeep because I don't want to walk another 6 hours back. And Jared just doesn't even think that option exists on there.
He was honestly like, wow, you don't have a car? Wow, shame on you. And then I'm just like, the entire time I was like, you know what, Jared, check your privilege. Not everybody has
Absolutely.
a car.
And not everyone had a car before. And I would imagine in this sort of like apocalyptic scenario, Jared, that cars are even harder to come by. So fucking get your Walking Dead privilege out of here and just be a little bit more respectful to this person. How about
This person that you just met. Like, honestly, for meeting someone, for like not having any human contact for 2 years, and this is how you go about your first interaction, not very good. Didn't pass.
Not great, Jared. I'm a little sad about you. You know what I mean? The other thing about this that I did think was worth noting, so it seems like there are 2 ways to tell if you have like a host in you, which is the eyes, and also the scar on the side of your neck, which Jared is like, oh yeah, well I have one of those scars, but it's just from me. It's not like from anything else, which I would not buy. If I was in that scenario, no thank you. After this long memory, we get back into Big Font Town, which means it's Wanderer's time.
We're back, baby.
I don't have to squint or use a magnifying glass anymore. And Wanderer is apparently like good at their job. I love this part where they just like get up and send an email to their seeker who's like, hey, here's all this hot goss I just found out.
Yeah. Got some office tea if you want to read.
It just felt very TMZ to me.
And immediately Melanie's like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Like, those are my secrets.
What did I tell you, Wanderer? Get out of my business.
Yeah.
I will say there is a moment here where that, and I know that I mentioned this last time, where the annotated bibliography comes back. We get that little annotated playlist happening here. It happens when Melanie is like, not Jaimes. And it says like, her voice in my head was as clear as my own spoken aloud. And so if you were curious what song goes along with that moment in chapter 4, it would be, of course, Paper Cut by Linkin Park.
Oh, classic Stephenie Meyer pick.
Just a good, safe choice for one Stephenie Meyer. So thank you, Steph.
Honestly, Stephenie Meyer seems to use like the same 12 songs in all her, I think that's just the same, she rotates the same 12 songs whenever she writes, and it's just like on constant loop, no matter what she's writing about. I'm sure it's the same playlist she used for like Midnight Sun or something like that.
Exactly. Every Stephenie Meyer playlist has Muse, has MCR, has Linkin Park, has Death Cab. Like, you can, you could say it all of like what, honestly, you could just generate a fake playlist and Stephenie Meyer would be like, absolutely, that's exactly what I did. How did you know?
Did you hack into my Spotify account?
Oh, Jesus. So, Wander emails about this hot office gossip, and then we get this very subtle ending of the chapter where Melanie is snarling at Wanderer. Good. That's a good, safe Stephenie verb. Of just the two of them saying how much they hate each other, which is great. It's a good start.
It. Just a good little duo, you know?
It is. Also, the safe duo here, which I forgot to mention a couple minutes ago, but apparently Wanderer's boss is the settler, or no, the seeker. And they also have another job position in this world that's called the comforter, but capital C. So not
Of course.
not a blanket, but like a personal blanket, which I
Great.
need to know more about that job immediately, please and thank you.
Yeah.
So that is where we are pausing for today. Next week, when we get back into the host, we'll be on chapters 5 and 6. So we're slowly moving along. We also have another episode that's coming out soon
Ooh.
for the one and only Happiest Season, which just dropped today in
Gay
our
Christmas.
future. Gay Christmas.
Gay Christmas. So you're gonna get 2 episodes. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Gay Christmas.
Gay Christmas. Happy Gay Christmas.
Happy Gay Christmas. We have a whole bunch of patrons to say Happy Gay Christmas to.
Yes, we do.
Cody, would you like to start?
Absolutely. Shout out Althea Johnson.
Pew, 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 pew.
Bwah, bwah.
Thank you to Mallory Hardwick.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Thank you, Katie Black. Bwah, bwah,
Wee, wee,
bwah.
wee, wee. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ow.
Pew, ow, ow,
Ooh.
ow, ow.
Thank you, Elizabeth James.
Pew, 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 pew.
Wow,
Yay.
wow.
Thank you to Jess Love.
Ow. Yeah. Thank you, Alex Dornan.
Alex Dornan. Pew, pew, pew,
Ooh,
pew.
ooh, ooh.
Thank you to Carrie Goldberg.
Yeah.
Yay, Chloe.
Thank you, Mickey Meyer.
Mickey Meyer. Pew, pew,
Bwah,
pew,
bwah, 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 bwah.
pew. Thank you to Zoe Steele.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shout out Rebecca Cullen.
Yeah.
Ow.
Ow, ow, ow. Thank you to Amy Taylor.
Bwah, bwah, bwah. Thank you, Mulch Gray.
Mulch.
Mulch.
Thank you to our unofficial intern, Taylor Brown.
Yes.
Town.
Yes.
Lautner.
Yes. Yes. Shout out Danae Swan. Ow.
Thank you to my... Okay, first of all, I had someone actually ask me if Kelly Beck is my mom. They're not. I don't know when I started saying that, but I can't stop. So thank you to my
Yeah.
mom, Kelly Beck.
Shout out Aaron Salinger.
Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, yeah.
Your family. Congrats.
Shout out Donna Kavanaugh. Point, point,
Woo.
point, 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 point.
And last, but certainly not least, thank you to
Ooh.
Jessica Hale. Happy early gay Christmas.
Yes. Ugh, you love to see it.
You really love to see it. Okay, this is the part that I know I said I was waiting for this earlier, but I was lying. This is the part I'm most excited for. So, Jay, could you tell us what fan fiction you brought to the space?
Yes. Okay. I was not really super into the whole Twilight fanfiction when I was a part of the fandom, like when I first got into it, until I think after Midnight Sun leaked. And then I was just like, okay, there's an Edward POV. I want to see how many different endings that has, because obviously when it came out, Meyer released the first half. So I went looking for the other half that people wrote. So this is a fan fiction that I found and I had bookmarked since 2013, 14? I can't remember.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
it's in my old account. And I had this saved because I don't know. I just thought that it was really funny, so I'm just gonna read this little part of it. So it's part of it's a crossover between Twilight and an anime called Ouran High School Host Club.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if you guys are aware, but
Oh, yeah.
it's great. Anyways, let me get started. And so they convinced Edward to join the Host Club. They did this in a logical way that respects the canons of both series and involved roses, rose petals, bubbles, and a bucket of pink paint. It took a while, but it worked. The next time the Host Club was in session, business was booming. The entire female population of the school was there, and save for Haruhi, of course, they all flocked straight to Edward. A few of the other hosts were a little jealous. Okay, more than a little jealous. Okay, the twins were blind with rage, and Honey cried a little. But the point is, they were back on track. Financially anyway, Kyoya told them. Plot-wise, well, the story is just taking off, so keep reading. Or tab out, or tweet to all your friends how horrible this fanfic is. I'm sure they really care.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's beautiful.
Wow. Who was the author of that?
The author is Maple Komori.
Cool. You love to see it.
Yeah.
A crossover of the century, truly.
Yeah.
The crossover I needed.
Yes, exactly. Jake, it has been an absolute joy to have you on the show this week. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Yay.
letting me join. It's been a lot of fun.
Of course. Where can folks go online to support your work?
So mainly I'm on TikTok, so if anybody wants to check it out, my username is Jaimes, which is JAE_JAINES. And then I'm also on Twitter as JustinJ320.
It's a lot of J's.
It is. It's my brand.
The brand is strong. Yeah.
It is.
I love that. Hopefully we'll make sure that folks can get you to your 30K.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Come join me, guys. We'll have fun.
We love it. Well, next week on more host bullshit, unfortunately, and also Gay Christmas. So until then, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
Get bit.
and get whipped.
Woo!
Oh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. Our theme music is by Eli Krause, and our artwork is by Maddie Padilla. Follow the show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. Send us an email or a fanfiction at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can find Allie at Into Wild Places and me at Cody Crow.
Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.